Hey, how you doing?
Sorry. Hi. My lighting was all messed up and I was trying to figure out how I was going to use my glasses. And I have new glasses that have a massive computer reflection. So I'm just going to go blind.
Okay. We'll try not to.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, Dr. Foster.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
No problem. We're glad to have you on here.
Yeah, we are.
Yay.
You are a clairvoyant medium, spiritual
Mhm.
medium.
Yes.
You have godstool.com as your website.
Correct.
And a Bears fan.
Yes.
Go Bears.
A
Go
Bears
Bear.
fan.
Okay, good. I was going to say, don't tell me you like the Packers.
Oh God, no. No. No, Bears all the way.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
So you've been on a lot of TV shows, Travel Channel, to name one.
Yeah,
Written
I've
some
done
books and everything. So maybe just kind of for the listeners, kind of just tell us about yourself and how you came about being what you are right now, if you don't mind.
Sure. I started reading for people when I was 13. I've had the gift all my life, but I didn't actually start using it until I was 13 years old. And it's something that's kind of transformed from just being able to read a person's past and present and future to all of a sudden understanding I was talking to someone who was passed over and then hearing things and then being able to place people. And I was also, I didn't realize at the time too, I was about 22 years old when I started remote viewing people and didn't know what I was doing. And I would be joined with people who've passed over. So remote viewing started. And again, that's just another aspect of what I do. And I couldn't tell you at what point I started doing medically intuitive readings for people, basically just vibing on their constitution and looking for anything that maybe is unbeknownst to them for that is preventable for the most part. And the reason I say preventable, maybe because I block anything other than that, or it's not my business, so God doesn't give it to me. But for the most part, what I receive is information like, hey, you need to go get this, or you need to check this. So that's another aspect of what I do. And for a long time, I wanted to write a book. I put it off. I finally said, okay, fine, give me the first sentence and then I'll write this stupid book. And that's what happened. And so I enjoy writing because it enables me to reach more people than just those that I'm reading for at any one particular time or group. And it's out there for the masses. Off of that whole, the psychic aspect of thing, I hate that word because I'm like, Sista Clio, 900 number, I hate that. So I try to divert from psychic. But when we had a cottage in Gobles, Michigan, and it was right on a lake. It was a super cool place. It had haunted history all around it. And I just found this out this year. I just found this out that the streets of this place are like Killarney and named everything after Ireland. And I didn't know that because I had to search the place to find where's the lake? Where is this place? I'm going to go to this place 42 years after the last visit that I had there. And it was much smaller than the last time I was there. But I realized, holy crikey, Batman, this is all Killarney and Ireland and, Cork named streets. It was crazy. Okay, to this story. So I was terrified of this cottage, and my parents allowed me to sleep down in the living room. There was a couch and this huge window wall, like a wall of windows. And then the neighbors had this giant spotlight that would reach down to the lake so we could swim at night. And so they'd open the curtains for me. And when I was little, every time I went to sleep, I had little people like this big, and they would come and they would play on the windowsill outside. And there were all sorts of colors and sparkles, and they would like flip over each other. They would come through the glass and then go back out of the glass. And they did this for me every night when we would visit until I fell asleep. And then I was 8. I went back. That did not happen again. When I was 8, though, I saw a UFO. And I stood there for a while and watched this thing not far from my house. It was in a cornfield. And I was like, holy crap, that's a UFO. And I watched this circle and its lights doing this all the way around it. And then a little bit after that, I woke up about 4:30 in the morning, and my brother and I shared this room, and we were in an apartment. And it's right. And this is another funky thing. It's in Orland Park, Illinois. And little did I know that Orland Park and Tinley Park are like Mothman as like capital of the world. I didn't know. All right. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. Something causes me to sit up. I roll over. I rub my eyes. And at the end of the bed are two little people, like 4 foot and 3'5", little people, all glowy white. And they're just standing there and they're like, hi. And I'm looking down at them. I'm thinking, and I did the whole like, am I awake? I'm awake. I'm awake. And they just stood there and waved at me and smiled. And I was like, is this the UFO thing? And there was that. I can keep talking. You want me to keep talking? You want to ask questions?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Keep talking. We'll have some questions as we
Perfect. So because of my experience, I have seen ghosts. I talked to ghosts people from the time I was 4, thought I was crazy. I then have these little people experiences, and then I see the UFO. So obviously, Bigfoot exists. Obviously, so is Loch Ness. They all exist. So I've had this strong draw towards all of these different cryptids and paranormal aspects of our non-dimension. And I had, every time I'd go around the woods, I was pixies, fairies. I knew they were there. Bigfoot, I knew was there. And I was drawn because when I'm reading someone, if you're around something or something is around you, especially elementals and cryptids, it's like they put a mark on you. Aliens, they mark you. And there's something different about your energy then. You have a different makeup. And when I'm reading a person, I kind of wrap around that energy, and then I read all that and I bring it back to myself from wherever you're at. And the beginning of this whole Bigfoot thing for me was a friend of mine. I had just met him, and he was sitting behind me at a paranormal event. And I turned around and I was like, and this sounds really weird, but I have to read you. And he goes, I have a question for you. And when we get done with this whole thing, it's like midnight. We're standing out in the middle of the cornfields in the dark, Ashmore Estates. And he goes, can you tell me if it's real? And I looked at him and I went, yes, they're totally real. And he goes, what do you mean what's real? And I'm like, you're Bigfoot. And he was like, what? So he had been around a family of Bigfoot. So through him, I was able to connect with these Bigfoot families, find out where they were. And then they started talking and sharing they were remote viewing with me and showing me where all this location was and the family makeup and how they breed and how they migrate and what they eat and all these incredible things. So then I got to go and visit. And that's where the whole thing for me for Bigfoot started, was being able to go into the woods and really just sit with and experience their energy. And they're there, but they're just interdimensional. So they have a different frequency. So they may be standing right in front of you. Those stereograph things where you it's a big picture and you can relax your eyes and see the picture. Okay. Yeah. That's exactly what it's like. When I go into the woods, that's exactly what I do, is relax my eyes to try to see a different aspect of what's right in front of us. And I always go in and I lift to show my waistband. I've got no phones. I've got no cameras. I've got nothing that'll hurt you. And I've had some really amazing Bigfoot experiences and communications with them. So that's kind of the gist of it.
Wow.
It's interesting you say that you saw a UFO, and then that happened because one of the questions I was going to ask you is, what are your thoughts on aliens?
Oh, they totally exist. And the really cool thing that's been happening in the last 5 to 8 months that I've read people, all of a sudden, I think since 2020, there's been a huge 2020, there's been a huge awakening of people here. So those that are maybe just earthbound, all of a sudden there's anxiety and they can't hear, and they're fuzzy thinking, and their ears are ringing, and their vision's getting bad. And They're having panic attacks and anxiety out of nowhere, but it's really just figuring out how to deal with a higher frequency, and it creates a vibration. So people are like, oh my God, I have anxiety. It's not, it's just a new awakening. And about 5 or 8 months ago, I'll say closer to 8 months ago, all of a sudden I'm reading people. And when I read, I see my guides take me to a beach for everyone. So I'm able to, I know what this means. I know where they get, if they take me here, I know what this means. And there was a place up on this duned area that was, it's fenced in, and it's a giant field. And people who've passed over will show up in this field if I don't see them down by the water. And all of a sudden I am taken to this swampy looking marshy area pool of maybe like 20 feet in diameter, and just beautiful. It looked elementally like fairyish and sparkly and different lights. And this person that was in front of me no longer looked like a human. They looked alien. And I was like, where the heck am I? And I started walking up this hill and realized, holy crikey, I was on the downside of this field that's normally attached to the beach. So my guides opened me up to this whole interdimensional area. And through there, I've seen different people who are Lemurian. I've seen people that look like frogs. I've seen purple people that look like squid or octopus. I have seen blue people. I've seen reptilian people. I've seen people who look more like iguanas than reptile. I mean, it's just like of course it's a reptile, but it doesn't look like your proverbial reptilian. It looked more like an iguana with like the spiky doodads for her hair. And then I was told, Rebecca, this is why all of these DNA places, Ancestry and 23andMe and everything, they want people to do this, because not only do you get to find out if you're like half and half or whatever, but they figure out who's the hybrids here. That's what they're going for, is they want to know your makeup. And they're looking for the hybrid energies in DNA in people, which is great. So if you've done that, yay. I did a long time ago. It's not everybody that I read for that is a hybrid makeup, but it helps people to understand. A lot of people who are telepathic, a lot of people who actually embrace the telepathic aspect of who they are, they have some kind of hybrid thing going on. I was once taken on I don't call it so much, maybe it was a hypnosis, I don't know, but I was very lucid for it. And I was taken through a planetary system where there was a giant pink planet. And this little green dude, I swear to you, he was not very nice looking. And he just kind of, like this big, he kind of floated up in a bubble right in front of me. And he had a little pointy nose. And I thought, what the heck? I saw a gray. But this little guy came up, and I'm like, how dangerous can you be? But then I was conveyed the message that this little guy's evil. And there was a whole bunch of these things. It was pretty cool.
What's their purpose?
What kind of, like, who?
Did they talk to you? Did they tell you what was?
He made me feel like the little green guy, his whole thing made me feel as if it was like he wanted to take over. And I was looking at him like, oh, what are you going to do? Like, you're little. And at least from my perspective, he looked small. The grays felt very friendly. And you know what? Oh my gosh. If we lose a connection here, it's not my fault, but I will tell you this. You want to hear a really cool story? Okay. I won't, I'll try to shorten it. Let's think. It would have been 2001, 2002. I do a reading for a complete stranger. He calls, we do the reading. We just start gabbing afterwards. He starts telling me about how the reading fits his life, that he worked for NASA. And he goes on to talk about when we had the Area 51, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, there were two sets of aliens, these reptilians and the grays. And the grays came into our government and said, we will provide you all of the ideas and needs that you have to flourish and have world peace. Just listen to us this way. But then these reptilians came along and said, yeah, but we'll give you all the power you want if you work with us. and you want the H bomb because we already had the A bomb. So if you want the directions, we'll give you the directions to this H bomb. You just had this whole, the Pearl Harbor thing, whatever. All of this stuff happens. Our government makes a deal with this reptilian crew because they want the directions to the H bomb. Now, if you go back and you look at history, you're going to see how this all fits in. Now we're talking about assassinations. We're talking about presidents. We're talking about aliens. And then I hear 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And he goes, oh, no big deal. That's just Arizona. They check on us all the time. I'm like, what are you talking about? They never checked on me before. He goes, well, you just said too many key words. And we've been on the phone a short while. So now they're listening. And they stayed on, I don't remember exact time, but let's say 5 minutes. And then he was like, clear, 5, 4, and then they were gone. There was no more static, no more chatter, but they stayed on because we were talking about all of these things. And I don't know if it's because of him and maybe they monitor him. And they're like, who are they talking to? Oh, it's just some crazy chick that lives in Illinois. But this stuff exists. Our government knows about it. And yeah, I always tell people, if you see me get into a black candy van, that was not on purpose. So
yeah, right. Your lights are going crazy over there.
Mine are?
Yeah.
They are?
They go brighter than
once in a while they get bright. Yeah.
Interesting. Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm talking about stuff, so maybe it's just the energy.
Could be. Maybe
I'll have to watch it back because again, my glasses, if I put these suckers on, I can't really see anything, but
there it got bright. Yeah. It got bright right there.
If I put this on, see?
I see the glare. Yep.
Yeah, there's glare. I had them make new ones without glare because all the glary stuff was peeling off and making it difficult to see. So
I could go into like so many questions right now. My mind's going in 1,000 different directions. Obviously, I had all these questions in mind, but so just off the wall, did we go to the moon, or is the moon a base where some of these aliens are hanging out? Do they hang out? Is there deep earth? Are there creatures down in the earth? Is that where some of these are coming from? What's your thought, or what's your feelings?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Your intuition on that.
I've always said that we did not go to the moon. I have family who persecute me for this, and I said we did not go. I don't, it may not be that we live on a flat earth under a dome. I don't know what that, I just know that there's something else up there that is expansive, and the way that they present it, it does feel like we are trapped in a way. I don't know if it's so much that we live under another ocean, but I do know that we are kept. We're kind of like an experiment. And the problem with me talking about that, and this is a fine hairline, is when I'm reading for somebody on a spiritual level and all of a sudden they have something come through that is alien. I'm like, okay, we're about to break protocol here because this is such a fine hairline. We have our angels, we have celestial things, we have universal aspects, we have creator, we have spirit, we have ghosts, we have all of these energy and darker angels, but then we also have alien beings. And they're like us, they're beings. They also have higher selves and higher experiences, but that's probably why they don't come let's say if you look up people's stories about when they see something, like when I know a Bigfoot's around, I will see blue lights, especially at night, like they're coming through portals. This is just the way it is. And fairies around them as well. Like fairies will be around them. So you're dealing with something that's interdimensional and it comes through portals. Then people will say, oh, well, I saw a spaceship and all of a sudden it was there and then phew, it's gone. It's probably because that's the only way that they're able to come into our world is through portals or dimensional portals, because there's something that's, I don't know, that keeps us from being able to get out. I don't know. And you asked about the inner earth thing. I do believe that at one point there would have been a functioning inner earth. And the only thing that I get at this point is I wish that was probably still the case. I really do. They're coming from someplace within our world. Is it possible that it's still there? Yes. But I also believe that a majority of those beings that would have been concealed in or within the earth, that they have, for whatever reason, I always joke about, I'm like, there must have been one big or one hell of a big Medusa at some point that went and turned everything to stone, because I'd really like to know what did all of that too. And I'm not given all the answers, but I think that majority of the giants and those sorts of things that existed, that they were taken out somehow. I mean, and there is no lying or arguing the fact that there are some things out there, the trees, the stumps, the Devil's Tower. I'm sorry, I couldn't come up with it when I'm channeling.
Petrified tree stump.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
I
there's
was
things
just thinking Devil's Tower. Yeah.
yeah, there's too much. There's just too much that. And another thing that I heard, I don't know, don't even ask me about dates, because again, my brain's not functioning. But oh, are they going to let me talk about it? I was going to tell you guys something, and then they pulled it away from me. Hold on. That happens if I'm about to talk about something I'm not supposed to. Wait, we were talking about Devil's Tower.
Right.
Tree stumps
And things that they've taken away. No, they pulled it away. Maybe they'll give it to me another way. I'll wait.
That just happens for me because of old age, but maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe.
No, you know
That's
what?
why I forget stuff.
Well, in my case, if they'll show me something, and if I'm about to talk about it, and they'll like yank it back, almost as if it just dissipates, and it's yeah.
We'll appreciate their concern, and we won't talk about it. Let's talk about Bigfoot for a minute.
Yeah.
So with you call them remote viewings, was that kind of the first experience that you had with Bigfoot creatures?
Yes, because I had, that I know of. But to be able to actually connect with them and communicate with them, that would have been remote viewing, would have been my very first experience with them. And being able to go out in the woods, I mean, I was able to tell them I'm coming. This is what look what I look like. And what was so cool too. Okay, golly, I don't want to confuse my times, but one of those times I saw as I was falling asleep, two of the males came across in front of me, and I was remote viewing them, and I was able to see their faces pretty well. And so I went online and I was like searching anything I could to find as close as to what they looked like. And then I printed a picture of him out with my picture right next to it. And I cut it out and I stuck it in a tree stump with, there was beads put in there, and we put a jar of peanut butter and some cookies. And next day, all of it was gone. It was so cool. It was so cool. Yeah. I'm like, Scratchy's got a picture of me in his pocket.
I don't know if I have pockets.
I don't think they do. You never know. Could have been a roll. Who knows?
So where do you think, you said these come from another dimension or a portal? I mean, are all these things coming from different areas? Or are they coming from the same area through maybe the same type of portals, like Dogman, Bigfoot? You know, are all these
very
creatures?
possible. Yes. And I think too, so for instance, the Bigfoot that I've always seen, I've not seen them like in a different world, let's say. They're always here, or they're always within some form of a forested area. I've never seen them clothed or robed or sitting on a throne. They're always in the woods. So when I'm saying portal or jumping through portals, it's almost as if they're able to say, you know what, we need to get out of here and go here. So they can move through these portals to maybe a safe area, but they're always around here. And if that means that there are caves or there are other locations on Earth that they're able to stay, I would fully believe that as well. I also think that because they have this ability to cloak, they could be standing right there and you will not see them if they don't want you to. My last time out in the woods, I was with some friends, and it was pitch black, new moon. There was not a sparkle of anything in the sky. And What they'll do is they will kind of flank you. So they'll come up on either side. Usually the biggest one, or the lead male, just the general or whatever. He will stay off a little bit further or ahead, and then he'll get younger males, teenage juveniles, just not him in rank, let's say, and they will walk next to you. They will throw things. They will try to keep you away from the females, the little ones, the infants, and so forth, or just keep you from going in certain directions. So we were in the dark walking, and I hear my friend Carmen, he is walking behind me, and everybody else is way ahead. And I hear, and I was like, is somebody running at us right now? Like, is that running? What the hell? What's the noise? And he whips out a flashlight, and we're looking, and there's this tree to our left that is hanging. The branches are hanging over us. And there's one branch, and it's doing this. Just one, just the tip of the branch, just spinning like this. And he's a scientist, and he walks up to the branch, and he's like, I've never seen a frequency like that. I'm like, it's not a frequency. They're doing, this is them. They're doing this. And he's like, no, this is science. And I'm like, whatever, I don't care. So we are both freaking out. And then this thing just stops. It just stops whipping the one little dinky branch out of this whole tree. No wind, no breeze. And I have a backpack on. And then we yell, oh my God, come over and look at this branch, you guys. This is what it just did. And all of a sudden I get on my backpack, and I can feel it. And I went, did you just scratch me? No. I'm like, who just scratched my backpack? Nobody. You could hear it. Everyone could hear on the nylon, and I could feel it through my backpack. And I realized, oh my God, this is a little one. It's messing with me. And I was going to joke around and like whip around and go like, boo, but I didn't want to scare it out of cloaking, because I knew its parents trusted us enough to let it come near and play with us. So I just let that happen. And the next day I went back, and I snuck down to where I was, and it was beautiful and quiet. And I hear knock, knock, knock. Right where the parents were the night before. So I grabbed 2 rocks, and I went knock, knock, knock. And then I get knock, knock, and I went knock, knock. So for like 5 minutes, we're just like, we're copying each other back and forth, me and this juvenile. And I could have stayed there. They could have left me in the deep woods. They could have left me there. I would never have left. I would have stayed. They get to know you. If you go in with absolutely no agenda, they know. They're like horses. They have this high intuitiveness. If you go in seeking them and partying and playing your music or joking around and being loud, they're not going to come near you. If you go in with intentions of just melding into their world or being a part of it, they will communicate. It's really amazing. It's amazing. People are like, well, how are you going to ever catch anything? I don't intend to, because if I catch something on camera, I'm not sharing it with the world, only because people are going to go searching for it at that point. That's why I think, television things, and they don't reveal where they are, just in case they catch something. You don't want people swooping in on that. But so many stories.
Yeah, I try not to take a phone with me when I go out, but it's hard for me not to, because I'm always filming for the show or something,
Of course. And you know what, though? I don't disagree with like digital recorders, or maybe recording something that you want to catch a whoop or a sound, but I generally don't try to catch them on camera. If I do catch them on camera, excuse me, it's not on purpose. And I don't want to do anything with it at that point. But they come close. They do come close. They're pretty awesome. And they're not apes. They're not gorillas. They're not gorillas. And I will
we've always said that too.
Yeah, they're more human. They think, they communicate, they understand breeding, they understand inbreeding, they understand hierarchies. They're just different us's, different types. Pretty cool.
In general, though, do you think they're friendly?
Yes. Absolutely. I would think that if a stranger came into your backyard and your family were there, though, you'd be like, "What the hell are you doing here?" You'd fight. You'd
Hmm.
make them leave. And so I don't put it past them. They're going to throw something at you if you're too close. Um, for me, the experiences I've had, if we're getting too close to something, like one time I felt the females and the children and I knew where they were. So I was like, let's go this way. And we got close enough to where they'll hit you to make you feel something, not like punch you, but they frequency wise, they'll hit you with this. And all of a sudden I was like, I felt like I was going to throw up. I said, we can't go any further. We have to back up. Actually, we have to get out of here. They don't want us any further. I think we're too close to the little ones and the females. So we just respect. I can't even speak. We turned around and left out of respect.
You said it right.
Well, we got it.
Okay. Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on, oh, I'm sorry, Brian, did you have a question? I didn't want to jump in. Good. What's your thoughts on Dog Man? What's that?
I have not seen a dog man. That's the one thing, that and Mothman I have not experienced. And maybe not that I don't want to. I just don't think I've been in a place where they might be. Someone else, though, that I did talk to said that they experienced what they thought was a Bigfoot and a werewolf hunting together. And so I don't say that they can't
We've heard that.
they can't coexist, but
Mhm.
it's very possible. I just haven't been in an area where they are. And
Here?
really,
In Wisconsin, right?
no, not in Wisconsin. They've seen a Bigfoot and a werewolf together in Kentucky.
Well, in
Oh,
Wisconsin,
yeah.
they got the Beast of Bray Road. That's
I know, and I did not experience. Where is that at?
It's
I think
more
it's
southern Wisconsin, right?
right. Yeah, it's closer
What?
to the Illinois line.
Okay. What city about? Is it like approximate? Is it near like the Gurnee area?
I'm gonna
I
tell
guess,
you if I can.
yeah, I didn't experience it. And living in Wisconsin too, because I lived in Wisconsin a while, I can say that going through the ledges, going through the moraine, because the moraine actually goes all the way down through Illinois. Uh, that is that's heavily those are full of portals. Those areas are full of portals for Bigfoot, and you'll see those likenesses too in the just about the Dubuque, Iowa area where it touches Wisconsin, where you're running into all of the ledges there too, or all of the icebergs and everything. Icebergs, is that what are they called? They come through, break it in, make the moraine. Yeah, that
Oh,
place.
the icebreakers or whatever they're called.
Yeah, I can't even think about the name of it.
It's Elkhorn, Wisconsin. Is the
Elkhorn.
city
Okay,
of
that.
Bray Road. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Near
Okay.
Lake Geneva.
Yes, and
North of
no,
Lake
I
Geneva.
have not. That's I'm like, why do I know it? No, I have not been there. I've been to Lake Geneva. It is beautiful there. I can see it. I can see that being a place where it would hang out, but I think it's expanded since the last time I was there. So I know they kind of try to stay away from very heavily populated areas. Yeah. I had a really cool experience that I met these gentlemen. They had the energy of a Squatchy on them. So we're talking about their Squatch, and he's 12 feet tall. He's white. His name was Gunther. And I wanted so badly to meet Gunther. So a couple of years goes by. I finally make it to their house, and they live right on top of a gully. So they're up here, and then it's all forest down to a gully. And I brought with me a little clear plastic box, and my kids gave me a bunch of jewels. So I had 3 fake diamonds, an opal. I'm sorry, 2 fake diamonds, an opal, a white quartz, and like a purple looking quartz. It was not amethyst. So I put him in a little container and I walked out to the woods and I showed, I'm like, okay, I know you're right there. So I showed him all of the stones that were here and I locked the box and I put it under the tree. So it's myself, Tom and Bill are standing over here together, and then our friend Ken. So we're kind of in a V formation against the house. So Bill goes out a couple of days later. He takes pictures, but they had opened the box and they put the stones in places where we were all standing. And it was the coolest thing because they put the 2 here where Bill and Tom were. They put the one with me. They put the one with Ken. And I said, just, they're all there. Put them back in the box. Close it up. So Bill goes out the next day and it's gone this time. There's nothing left in this box. Fast forward 3 months. I go out squatching with some friends. And amazing night. Go and leave what did we leave? Peanut butter. Left a feather, some jewelry, just fake stuff. They like those shiny things. And I don't live there, so I have to leave. I come home and I said, keep me posted. Let me know what you find. If you go back, they go back and he goes, look at this. And he has a handful of a fake diamond and a white opal. And I went, those are mine. Those are the ones that they took from Bill and Tom's. Now, of course, this is a very pushy-pulley kind of thing. No, those are mine. No, I lost those a long time ago. Okay, whatever. I don't care. I have like the pictures of how identical these two are, which tells me you're talking Illinois to Ohio. Okay. They're not taking the highways to do this. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever because it helped me realize they recognized me in some form of communication. And even now they'll be like, when are you coming back? When are you coming back here? When are you coming to visit us here? When are you coming here? And as much as I'd love to jump in a car and drive 10 hours, I can't do that all the time, but they do connect with you. Like they make friends with you and then they follow you and you might dream of them. I don't put it past them to just show up and look in your windows sometimes either. They can do anything they want. They're not confined by time, space, gravity, and all that stuff. They're beyond that. They're so much wiser than we are.
Do you do most of your squatching out here in the East? Have you been to the Pacific Northwest?
I've been to Squatch. I've been in Illinois, Wisconsin, not so much Indiana. They have some in Indiana, but I did not squatch in Indiana. And then Ohio. I've been almost to the Pennsylvania border, but as far as like squatching out east, no, I've wanted to, but at the time I was doing some other project or something and didn't get out in the woods. But yeah, I'd love to do that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys are in Wisconsin?
No, we're in Indiana.
You're in Indiana. Oh, okay.
Northern Indiana, right on the Michigan line.
Oh, sweet. Yes, Michigan. Oh my gosh, Michigan. Fairies, gnomes, trolls. Pretty amazing.
Bigfoot.
Yes. Michigan is definitely the place for all of that. It's mystical.
We got it all.
Mystical. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. If Bigfoot's so hard to prove existence, we're never really going to, if that's the case. If they're coming in and out of portals and they're not confined to here, like you said, we're never going to be able to prove it unless the government tells us that's what's going on, and they're not going to tell us that stuff, right?
No, they're not. And I know the government knows about them. The government absolutely knows about them, probably has a few locked up. Maybe they're breeding them too. But those are different than the ones that are out in the wild. That's why I'm like so afraid to even mention like where they're at, because maybe they don't know. Maybe the government doesn't know exactly where they all are, but they definitely have some. They've got something of everything somewhere underground. They absolutely do. So,
yeah, we believe that too.
Yeah.
Well, do you think like Loch Ness is more just a natural creature that survived through the flood and all that because it's
Oh,
called
absolutely.
and whatnot?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And that's the one I'd love. I mean, Scotland is a past life place that
Yeah.
I absolutely love. And if I wasn't here, I'd be living in Scotland. So if I ever disappeared, that's where I went. But I would love to just go vibe at the loch and just
Yep. Me too.
feel the water, find out what's going on in there, what life is energized through it. And the thing about Loch Ness is because it's not a super intelligent thing, it lends me to the idea that it probably is something that survived in maybe more than one. And because of the depth of the loch and how it connects, we don't know how it connects down there. It's too dark. They don't know. You have to drain it.
Too dark and too deep.
Exactly. And so they were probably moving in and out of a greater water system. And who's to say they're even alive anymore? But I'm sure that they were while humans were alive and they just existed. I mean, look at sturgeon. Those things get huge
Yeah,
and
those are big
old.
fish.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So absolutely it did exist. And I believe that some of them were hoaxes, obviously. People were faking stuff, but
Yeah.
some of those stories are real. Mm-hmm.
What do you think about some of these cryptids like Mothman or, these ones that kind of bring,
Well,
hazard and
I don't know.
happenings and bad things? I mean, is there some connection there? Is
Oh,
Mothman like a demon or, I mean,
no,
no?
no. I'm more along the line that Mothman's probably more of an extraterrestrial or alien aspect of something that people are picking up on. That's why it's not always, or it's not always here. And I have never, not gonna lie, I have never seen one. Um, I I'm thinking, and let me put this out there too. Demons. I've experienced demonic aspects once, maybe in my entire lifetime, maybe 2 times. Like true demonic aspects, maybe 2 times. So most of the time you're just dealing with like a darker angel or pixie or something, a human mischief, a human that hasn't crossed over can also be pretty evil. Because it's like if Karen was crazy in life and she used to bite people, she's going to bite you and scratch you in this life too. She's going to find a way to manifest that. So it could be just crazy
Mhm.
Karen, never crossed over. Doesn't have to be demonic. But as far as Mothman, I don't know. I've not experienced it. And as much as I'd like to think that it's real, I've not seen it. I'm not going to say it doesn't exist, but I'm leaning more towards something that's extraterrestrial or alien.
Okay, gotcha.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just lost my train of thought. All right, did you want me
It's
to
going
say
around.
something?
I think you get to a point where you're not really logically, your brain is not functioning like 2 + 2 because you're in a
Mhm.
higher plane when you're thinking about this stuff. You're in a different way of computing. And that's why the whole brain function thing, I lose my vocabulary too. I can't even come up with the words that I'm trying to speak half the time. So
Do you go to people's houses and talk to their past loved ones that are around, or do you do things like that, or do you communicate with the past passed on, so to speak, to their
yes.
loved ones, or
Hmm. Most of the things I do are right over the phone because I read for people across the globe actually, and the let's say human or animal, whoever comes through that's passed over wants to talk to me. Um, they are there is no limit to how our communication happens because of our ability to, we are energy beings. So as long as you can connect to that dimension, that's just what I've learned. I've just really honed on how to do that. So I'm able to find where they are and talk to them. I don't know how to explain it.
Mhm.
And so people who've passed over, if they come through, they'll talk. Animals, dogs, cats are a little more arrogant, but dogs, horses, domesticated birds, most of the animals domesticated, they will all have a voice and speak and talk and share things about their owners or about themselves. both living and dead. And so, yeah, I guess I do that too. I didn't even think about it. I speak to, and people, let's say, who are living, but they're nonverbal. So maybe they're, they have cerebral palsy and can't speak, or they're in a coma, people with dementia. I communicate with all of those people as well. And you know what's really cool? If you've got any listeners who have family who have dementia, just look at the word dementia. It's dimensions. So if you go in and you speak to your mom, and on this day that you speak her, you are 58 years old and she does not recognize you, but you pull out a picture of yourself when you were 2, she'll go, oh, that's my daughter, 2 years old. Look, I recognize her. And then if you weren't born yet and she's 16 and she's at grandma's helping pluck chickens, she will not know that picture. She won't know who's in the photo because she's in that dimension. She is 16. They have learned, and through whatever is going on in their brain, whatever switch that's there that keeps us here in this life is gone. And so all of a sudden, if you catch them on a day when they know you at 58, or they knew you maybe at 57 and you look similar, like, oh, now I recognize, and it feels like they're there in that moment. They are in that dimension, in this one right now. But if you show up and they're somewhere else at any other time frame before you or when you looked younger, they will not know you. And that's, I think, the one thing, if you know someone who has dementia, talk to them, find out where they're at. How old are they? Who are they with? What are they experiencing? And then just talk to them in that time frame, because you will learn a lot. You will just learn everything you can about that time frame. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
I know, isn't that awesome?
I don't mean to jump around here, but let's talk about, do you believe in something like reincarnation or?
100%. Absolutely. We all have a lot of lives behind us. We all come back. Well, we don't always want to come back. There are souls that are just like, give me a break. I've been here too many times. I don't want to go back. And then they come back and they're ticked off. They have authority issues. They don't like people. They realize they're here to help and people don't want help. They don't listen. But most of the time we are here to learn, and we are here also sometimes to overcome a karmic debt. So if, let's say, you are a doctor and you're on the verge of figuring out the cure to polio and then you die, that is something that you're going to be like, holy crikey, I need to go back and continue work on something. So people will come back then. If you die in an accident, if you die where you feel like it's too soon, a lot of times people will come back and try to overcome that. Or if they commit suicide, overcoming that debt. And most of us, this is what's so cool. And this is also really hard sometimes for some people to understand. We all have many lives behind us where we were both male and female. We have been shoe cobblers, warriors, princesses, race car drivers, rock stars, you name it. And that's why you get that old soul that's a jack of all trades, really good at a lot of things, because they just have that memory.
The natural ability.
Yes, it's a part of them. One of the coolest things that I saw, though, that is so owner-opening, though, is when I'm reading for someone who was a different race in a previous life. For instance, they're Black now, but they were a white slave owner in a previous life. And and so you're coming back, or you're white now and you were a slave in a previous life, and I can remember it. And so for me, it's frustrating because you see everything happening between races, and you just want to smack people and go, you were Black, you were white, drop it. We all have had the experience. And it's so frustrating because our souls are so divine and amazing. And if people would look beyond the initial energy that they pick up on someone or what they see, there's just so much more that people would realize, wow, I love this. I dig you. We connect. It's just so cool, because the stuff people have gone through, I don't know. And let me just tell you this too. I've seen only truly one person from hell, like try to come back from hell. There is a dark place, but people judge themselves to that place. They're not like, you're going to hell. They automatically go, I deserve to be there. And that's where they put themselves. You judge her. That's why you should never judge anyone or yourself.
Or just maybe have negative mindset.
A negative mindset. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. It can put you in a bad place. Mm-hmm.
I've been working on mine, trying to be more positive.
Yeah. You know, if you find yourself saying something negative, even to yourself, like, oh, I'm so stupid. No, I'm not. I'm super smart. And it's not arrogant. It's not self-centered to try to pump yourself up, to just change the whole vibration, because we can manifest so much just by thinking it with some tad of emotion. All of a sudden it's like, whoa, crap. I didn't want that to happen, but we manifest it. We make it.
Speaking of that, let's talk about your books for a second.
Yeah.
You've written 3 or 4 different books.
Yes.
The Book of Response. What does that kind of entail? Can you tell us a brief?
Yeah, very brief. So a friend of mine was at a bookstore. It was she picked up a book and it was like, ask a question and flip to a page. And it was like, yes, no, maybe. And I was like, that is the dumbest thing I have ever seen. Wait a second. So I realized I need to write a book where I actually channel readings, and I would put it, well, there's what it is you can hold the book by the spine and you can let it fall open to an answer after you've really thought about with energy what you want it to, you know, what your question is or what your problem is, what you're worried about. Or you can hold it and close your eyes and then flip until you feel you need to stop and then read that page, both sides. And there is a reading on one of the pages. There is a symbol that correlates to that reading. And then there are 2 biblical verses from all various forms of religion. So I pulled from, I was drawn to certain things, and they were put this on April 6th, put this on May 31st. This goes on October 20th. And that's how it was put together. It was really just, I skipped through the whole book as I was told where to put stuff. And I love it. I use it because I can't read myself. So I'll be like, oh, I gotta go get my book. I want to know what it's telling me. And there are times when I'm reading people and let me try this, and I'll flip it. I just want to see how this correlates to you. It's so cool. I do love that. My first book, The Beaches, that was intended to show people how I read, and then also how they themselves can learn to read, and explains how I walk around and how I symbolically view things. So it just helps give people a really basic idea of the symbolisms and how they might pertain to a person's life, how your angels might talk to you. The second one I wrote was God, Please Tie My Shoes. And it basically is, the title references our connection to spirit, to creator, to God, and how awesome we all are in terms of clairvoyance, telepathy, being able to vibe on someone. You know if someone's good or bad right off the bat. Everybody knows, like, oh man, that's bad news right there. And even if you stand there and try to get to know them, you might be like, you know, you get an icky feeling about someone. You might hear, oh, I wonder what Mary's doing. Bring, oh, hi, Mary. I was just thinking about you. So everybody does it. So that was the purpose of that book. It was to help people see what they do regularly on a daily and go, oh my gosh, I do this. Oh, I do that. And to strengthen what they already have going on and to help them to then further develop whatever gifts they might have. And the whole thing was, if you need help, ask for it, and then pull your hands away and let God tie your shoes. Like, how many times are you going to ask and be like, oh, like, wait, let me figure it out. I don't even know which was the third one.
Well, manifest.
Manifesting 411. Okay. So that is a journal book. I always used that myself. So then I published it so that everybody else could use it, but it shows people how to manifest what they want. And I do it daily. I have books like dated for every 6 months because it's a 6-month journal, 180 days. And it helps people to learn how to manifest and how to put the energy into their day. And it also keeps people positively thinking. You know, if you do research and you just go out and do research, it's going to be all over the world, all over the place. You're not going to have any really great like results. But if you have that research question and you stay focused on that, you'll come to some pretty awesome results and conclusions. And that's why when you manifest and you write things down during the day, oh yeah, that's right, I was working on that. So I got in order to do that, I have to make sure that I keep this going, or I talk to this person. So it keeps you moving in the direction of manifesting and opening and walking through doors. And it's really amazing when you get to that 6-month mark and it tells you go back to your first day and what were you originally trying to manifest. And you might look at that and go, oh my God, I did that. I didn't even realize I accomplished that. Or you realize that what you were trying to manifest here has completely transcended so many different things. And now you can see your own spiritual growth. I love that thing. I don't go a day without it. I just can't. It's addicting to see your manifestations happen.
Well,
I have to
I
check
got
that
some new
out.
books to add to my collection.
It's awesome.
Where can listeners and folks get those books at, Dr. Rebecca?
Amazon. You just go right onto Amazon. And the journal is not available in an ebook form, obviously, but you can get the others in an ebook form. So, and you may not want the answer one either, unless you kind of let a number pop into your head and flip to that page, because purposefully, you're supposed to let it either fall or, yeah. So,
and they can also go to your website, godstool.com.
Yeah.
And
yes.
see what
And then
books are
there's links
available
there
there.
too.
And all and everything in your YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really cool that you're influenced mostly by God. A lot of I won't say a lot of, but you see mediums and clairvoyants out there. They don't really stress the fact that they're driven through God like you do.
I couldn't do it without him.
Right.
And I think that's really cool. It really is that your
Mhm.
basis is based on that. So are you speaking at any events, or do you go to events?
I do. I do. And I've held off on everything. I was working on a project that the schedule on it is kind of unknown at this moment. So I haven't really scheduled any events. I do have one in July that's scheduled in Iowa. I'm going to be speaking and doing some galleries. I think that's posted on my website. I may not have put that up there yet. I was supposed to be in Oklahoma, but again, because of this other project, I'm not doing that one anymore. And, but it's pretty cool. So there's a lot coming. I just can't talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to get you back on when you can talk about it. And
yeah.
Well,
you can, you know what? A lot of this, you can go to Amazon Prime and you can, all of this stuff is on my page, but the Bigfoot stories, the spiritual Bigfoot and the Bigfoot of Bailey, Colorado, and all those are really cool documentaries and things that are on Amazon that you guys can watch. I think the one is $4.99 and the other ones are free. So
yeah, I think that's right. That's where I recognize you from, is the Bailey, Colorado documentary.
Oh,
I think
cool.
I was like, where did I see her at? Which documentary did I see her on? But
that's awesome.
Yeah, we appear to have lost Brian again.
Maybe is that what's going on?
He keeps losing. I don't know he's having a little difficulty there. So
say la vie. It's all good.
Pops back on here. But yeah, we'd definitely like to get you back on down the road and talk about more things. I know you've got a ton of stuff to talk about. We can get back more into the clairvoyant part of stuff too, and maybe hear some cool stories with that. So, but for the listeners, yeah, you guys check out godstool.com, Dr. Rebecca Foster. Check out her books. Look them up on Amazon. I'm going to definitely check out the Manifesting 411. That sounds really cool.
Perfect.
I'm hoping Brian jumps back on here, but I'm not sure if he will or not. So, but anyway, we're going to
technology today.
I'll cut this out, but we're going to put this on our YouTube channel and on our podcast. And then we have like 3 or 4 different radio stations. One is Atlanta, one's in Denver, that we'll put this on too. So, hey, there you are. We're just saying goodbye, Brian. So
I know this freaking computers.
Well, my mic's all jacked up. I don't know if you noticed, my mic is it's resting on my stand now. So
everything's going wrong. Yeah.
But Dr. Rebecca.
But thank you for coming on. We enjoyed it.
It was awesome.
I did too. Thank you so much for having me.
Yep. And we'll try to get you back on down the road. So.
Yeah, we'll definitely.
Excellent. God knows I can talk.
All right. Well, you take care. We appreciate it.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
We'll see
you. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.